MashaAllah, so many people they came and they want to know what Islam is all about. But many more people, they were oblivious to the message, they were just passing by. So when I went there, with so many children, so many youth, and so many adults, you can you can realize that how did the prophets and the messengers of the past, how do you think they may have felt? When they went out to convey the message, they felt so much rejection by so many people. See, in here in the UK, in the US, when we go out to preach the message, no one physically harms you. They don't pelt the stones at you. Your physical safety is not compromised. But look at the prophets and the messengers of the past, even the Sahaba, the companions, they had to go through so many persecutions and tortures and so many physical harms to convey the message. So if you don't convey the message over here, and if there is Islamophobia out there, obviously Islamophobia is a sign of lack of education. If I see Islamophobia, what comes to my mind is that Sabeel, you have to do more, you have to convey more, you have to educate more people. So let me ask you this question to all of you. Any one of you have been to Makkah, Medina for Hajj or Umrah? Anyone, right? Many of you, mashallah, many of you. So once you come back to the UK, once you go there and come back, it just looks like a dream. It looks like a dream, right? Once you go there and once you come back, and you want to go back there again many, many times because praying in Makkah in the Haram is how many times the reward? 100,000 times. Who would like to miss the reward, right? Coming and praying over here, over there 100,000 times. But answer this question to me. There were close to 140 companions, Sahaba of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only 10,000 of them, they were lived, they died and they are buried in Makkah and Medina. 130,000 of them, they left Makkah and Medina and they died somewhere else. What could be the reason? Better education maybe for their children, maybe better climate, right? Luxurious living, better Tesla cars. What could be the reason? We know the answer. Yes. Yeah, see, when they read into the Quran, they realized that yes, they have to pray, they have to fast, they have to do the obligations. But when they came to the Quranic ayah, Surah Baqarah, ayah number 143, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was speaking to them and He was speaking to all the Muslims. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. And the ayah continues. So when they read this ayah and other ayahs of the Quran, they realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you are an ummah justly balanced, that you become witnesses to humanity, the way the messenger of Allah was a witness over you. So they realize that Islam is not a local faith. Islam is not a faith of any city, any town. Islam belongs to all of humanity. So with their person, with their talent, the resources, with their sacrifices, they spread out to different parts of the world. For example, Amr bin al-As radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he went to the people of Egypt in the year 641 to open the doors of Islam up there. Around the year 648, according to some historians, Saad bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he went to the people of Persia and then to China to convey the message. In the same pattern, Uqba bin Nafi, he went to the people of Algeria and North Africa to convey the message, and more expeditions they went out. Africa, Europe, Russia, right? India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Malaysia, to different parts of the world. Because of their commitment, their sacrifices, now today we can say, with Allah's guidance, we are Muslims. I was born and raised in India, in Hyderabad, very close to some of your places in India. And I used to think, where did the Muslims, how come there are 200 million Muslims in India? If this is a Hindu country, means India, where did the Muslims come from? Did they all migrated? Then I realized, and my teachers, they told me that there were some Muslims who came from Arabian countries with the mission to convey the message. And one of my ancestors who was a Hindu converted to Islam, and then the generations also were Muslims until my generation. That's exactly the purpose, the reason Allah has sent you to this part of the world. No matter why you came here, for what reason you came here, better life, education, luxuries, the primary mission that Allah is making you to live in this country is to peacefully convey the beautiful faith of Islam. If we are not doing that, our Islam is incomplete. As simple as that. And the second important reason why we should convey the message is that obviously, all of these social ills are increasing. As we were coming from the bus back, from the Dawah, I see on the streets all of these, what do you call it, rainbow flags, immoralities, boyfriend, girlfriend, drug abuse, breakdown of the family structure, homicides and suicide. They're all over the place in the UK, in the US. You can see it on the street. If we don't do anything, these things are going to increase. Jibril alayhi salam is not going to come down with his battalion of angels to knock at the door and let people know that Islam is for you. As the Quran says in Surah Baqarah, ayah number 185, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. And the ayah continues. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that in the month of Ramadan, the Quran was revealed as a guidance for all of humanity and as a criteria to distinguish between right and wrong. So my question to you is, if Quran is for all of humanity, how would your neighbor, your colleague, your classmate, how would he know that the Quran is also for them as guidance? They would not know it. That obligation, that honor, and that reward is given to you and me. We are the ones to take that message. If it is a guidance, if the Quran is a solution, it is us. Just imagine I'm sitting here on the chair. Imagine, okay? And I have a phone on my hand. I'm just going over the social media, right? TikTok, for example. And next to me, suppose a person with COVID is suffering. The other side, a person with cancer. Maybe in the front, a person with a drug abuse. And I know that on my table, there are all the medicines sitting on my table. Imagine that thought experiment. And if you watch me like that, if somebody comes over here and watch me, that I'm sitting here with all the medicines here, people around me, they are suffering, what would they say about me? What an evil person. Busy consuming in the comfort zone, wasting the life on the social media, all around you. Look at you, you can protect them, you can treat them, you can save them, you can cure them, but you're in your own world. That's what they will say to me. What do you think the non-Muslims will say on the day of judgment? The Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, that guidance, that blessing, that solution, we are spiritual doctors for humanity. Humanity is suffering. All these people who are having drug abuse, for example, they can appeal to Allah on the day of judgment. We were drowning in darkness. Nobody knocked at our door. Nobody gave us a flyer. Nobody invited us to the masjid. No one told us that there is a solution, that there is a creator. Suppose if all of the non-Muslims, if they have a class action suit against you and me on the day of judgment, it will be a tough day. So what I can say is, with whatever capacity that you have, convey the message. Two quick important points. One of the most important, investment that you can do, that I am doing, it helped me, inshallah it will help you. Invest in becoming good communicator. Invest in public speaking skills. I am taking the classes, by the way, right? So I'm not saying me and you, I'm doing it anyway, because we have the best message. So we have to become the best deliverers of the message. We have the best product. We have to become the best salespeople, the share people of the product. The Prophet was the best communicator in the history of humanity. How he started his presentations, how he was, conveying the message, giving examples and analogies, how he was a good listener, how he used to convey stories and parables, how he used to customize the message. So every Muslim, if there is one skill, one homework, one assignment I want to give to all of you is, invest in public speaking skills. Not that you have to take a mic and so many people sitting, even when you're conversing one-to-one at your work, with your colleagues, with your classmates, with your neighbors, it will help you, inshallah. And last but not the least, let me end with this wonderful story. So in Chicago, so I'm from Chicago, there are mashallah 600,000 plus Muslims there, just in that city. More than 130 plus masajis and many masajis are coming up just like over here. I went to an older person who's a Muslim. Mashallah, he's close to 90 years of age. So myself and my wife, we bring some groceries and whatnot because they don't drive. So when I went there, about maybe 3 days before I came, let's say last week, I was in the home. So he told me, Sabeel, we brought something like oil and stuff. So he said, why don't you sit down with me, this person. When I went there, I knew his condition, but at that time, he was totally bedridden. So he's not able to walk. He's on the wheelchair, electric wheelchair. We take for granted our health. You came here walking, driving any which way. So he told me that he showed me, what, these are the small Islamic brochures that I have. He's saying. He was on the bed. Then he said, Sabeel, you'll be happy to find out that I'm doing dawah. He's saying that. Really? Come on, uncle. How are you doing dawah? Are you a social media influencer? I mean, of course not, right? How are you doing dawah? He said that anytime any handy person, they come to fix the home, he gives them the message of Islam. Bedridden person. Then he said, Sabeel, every single Jummah, I go to the Jummah prayer, they literally have to carry me, and then they take me on the bus, and then I go there on the wheelchair, and I attend my Jummah, and then he said, I take that 1 minute Islam card, and I give it to the bus driver. I said, uncle, you're amazing. So with whatever capacity, he's conveying the message. Allah has given us more blessings. We can walk, we can see, we can get up, we can go on the street, we can do street dawah. So what about us? So here is the good news. Let me end with this, right? Despite all the chaos in the world, the problems in the world, here is the good news. In the USA, maybe the same thing over here, 37% of the non-Muslims, they want to learn about Islam. 37%. The population of the US is 350 million. If you do the mathematics, 37% means 130 million non-Muslims. They want to learn about Islam. They don't want to blindly believe in the media, CNN, Fox, NBC. They want to learn about Islam. So just imagine if you have a product. And if you have 130 million potential customers of the product, you'll be sleeping, you'll be having sleepless nights. You'll be jumping up and down. So that is the good news. So what I say is, right now, this is the golden age of dawah in the world. People are awake, people want to learn, people are sincere. If we are not sharing Islam, if there is Islamophobia, that means the shortcoming is ours. They are ready to learn Islam. So I hope and pray that all of us coming together, right? Every united Muslim Ummah, Dawah is the glue for all of us, that we become ambassadors of Islam to all of humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your families. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you have any quick questions, comments, inshallah, I'll be happy. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, why not, inshallah. Close.
You can see this stuff.
It's okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Some Christians, they've been told, something about Islam, and they don't know Arabic, and they don't. Very difficult. They don't want to listen to you to explain to them. So 2 weeks ago, someone came to me and he said, "There's a contradiction in the Quran."
A contradiction in the Quran. Okay.
So those, like evangelical people, which is sometimes they will not listen anything you said, but they quote, the out of context. Something being told, how do you deal with them?
Fine. So the question is, some evangelical Christians, when we went to the Leicester Square, there were so many of them. They have the big tents, they had the mic, and they were shouting and yelling and whatnot. Fine. If those people come to us, what I would bargain with them is this. Okay, I will give you time to tell your message, but please give me 5 minutes so I can convey my message to you. In that 5 minutes, convey in a pure, pristine, clear, Tawhid oriented way the message of Islam. And in that message, do not bring the Bible, the contradictions, the Trinity. Just give them straight what is the message of Islam. So at least on the day of judgment, they cannot bear witness that nobody came to them with the message. So that's how I will deal with the Jehovah's Witness, evangelical Christians, or these evangelical people who are doing dawah, their dawah on the street. So I will not spend too much time arguing with them back and forth. I will just say, fine, convey your message. I will give you 5 minutes. I will listen to you. I will not interrupt. But please give me 5 minutes and listen to what I have to say. Don't argue with those type of people, but other sincere people. If they want to know some words from the Quran and they say, Jesus is Son of God, but if they are sincerely listening, you can invest more time in those people. But keep on doing dawah. Don't get discouraged. You will always receive people who are anti-Muslim or sincere people or close to Islam. Doesn't matter. Every single human should be a recipient of this beautiful message. MashaAllah. Go ahead. Any more question, comment? Okay. If not, inshallah, yes.
When did you travel to America?
When would I go back?
When was the first time you went? How old were you?
I was about 14 years of age. How old are you?
I was born in the UK.
MashaAllah. Very good. Very good.
Alaikum Doctor. Barakallah khairan for you. But there's some of us that are so-called introverts. We're not very good at speaking in public or in public or making relationships with others. So we find it a bit awkward giving dawah in it's like whereas like even approaching your friends or something like that. When you approach them with the message of Islam, sometimes you get negative stuff like, we don't want to talk about religion or like that. So because you don't want to offend their feelings, you sort of like hold back. So how does one sort of like come out and break out of this mold to Islam as in like give dawah?
So there are kind of two questions in what you're saying. Some of us who are introverts, how do we come out of the comfort zone and still convey the message? And the second question may be that, okay, fine, if you convey the message, how do you break the ice without offending them but still convey the message? Perhaps, right? I'm also an introvert. Okay, so we are in the same boat. Alhamdulillah. But we need to realize, see, if the companions of the Prophet, the Sahaba, they had to go through so many challenges. Not everyone was a good speaker, but by their akhlaq, by their good conduct and good morals, they had humongous effect on the population. Indonesia, Malaysia, right? Indonesia, the most populous Muslim country in the world. Mostly business people with good ethics, they went up there. So it's not dawah is not just about speaking about Islam. It is initially to attract the people with your credibility. They should look at you as a credible person. They should be comfortable to discuss things with you. The neighbor should be looking at you as the best Muslim in the best neighbor in the neighborhood. So we need to build that. And once we build a rapport, then when we convey the message, it becomes easy for us to convey and for them to take it. Okay, simple technique, right? Then I will take your question, inshallah. A simple technique I use is that ABCD technique. All right? ABCD technique. So the A stands for you attract the person by saying something or something that you're wearing or by your actions. Now, it could be, so I received a call recently and the person said, I want to learn about Islam. I asked him, okay, how did you become interested? He said that he goes to Jiu-Jitsu, the martial arts. Over there, this is run by Muslims. So during the break time, they take the break and they all pray in the same area. He sees them every time. He liked the discipline up there that included him, that attracted him, and now he wants to convey, now he wants to learn about Islam. Sometimes, if you're in the cafeteria, you're not eating that meat, the pork, and whatnot. If people say, "Are you vegetarian?" No, you can say you're not. But you're avoiding the non halal, non tabiha meat. If you can say inshallah, you can say alhamdulillah. By saying something, doing something, your actions, sometimes you can attract the person. So A is to attract. B is to just build the bridges. Just speak about the common concern, the world, geopolitics, things around the world. Make that connection, build a rapport. C stands for, now you build a rapport, speak about the commonality. Okay, C for commonalities. Recently, before coming here, I went to a church, they invited me. I opened my conversation by asking them the question, okay, name me five commonalities between Islam and Christianity. Right away, the rapport was built. They were at ease, commonalities. And the D, what do you think D may stand for? You have A, B, C, D, right? Not differences, but the. Yes. If they emphasize on the differences, then we go in that route. But generally, the A, B, C, D technique almost always works for me. At work, anywhere else. What else will give us more confidence is the fact that if we have prepared ourselves. Prepare yourself with, okay, someone, if they ask you a question, I have only 2 minutes. If they say, tell me what Islam is all about. You have to know quickly, in a nice, precise, eloquent way, what to say, what structure to have, how to start, how to finish, what analogies, what evidence to give. In 2 minutes, you can do that. Also, remember and do the homework and know the answers to the common questions people may be asking. Questions about, all the misconceptions people may have. Know like quick answers to those misconceptions. Once you're armed with this knowledge and prepare yourself, then it becomes a bit easier, even for the introverts, to convey the message. So, especially for the youth, I will just give you a simple formula, right? Okay, what comes to your mind if I say to you, OMG? Oh my God, correct? So, if you remember OMG and add the word letters HI, OMG high. If anyone comes to you, if they want to know what Islam is, I'm thinking OMG high. So the O stands for the oneness of God. Easy. So you mentioned to them, we believe there is only one God, and this God is all powerful. He's the creator, He's independent, merciful, forgiving, loving creator. Then we say to them, the M, that God, He wants to help humanity, to guide humanity, but to guide humanity, God does not come down and become a human. From the humans, He picks and chooses messengers and prophets. So the M stands for messengers and prophets. Then if that person is a Jewish person, I will share with them the prophets common to their faith and our faith, again to build a rapport. Prophet Moses and Ibrahim and Suleiman and David and Ishmael and Isaac. And I say to them, every prophet, every messenger, they came to invite people to the submission of one God. Submission of one God in Arabic is Islam. So that's M, right? O-M. What do you think G may stand for? Take a guess. Yeah.
What?
Well, we already did God in O, right? One God.
Oh.
The G stands for guidance. Guidance from the Quran and the Sunnah. So then you can mention, suppose if I'm speaking or someone is speaking to a lady, a non-Muslim, they can mention that all the rights and the honor that Islam has given to women before they were subjugated, Islam raised them up, gave them the honor. If I'm speaking to an African, a black person, I can mention the equality of all the races Islam has given. So based on the person, you can customize the G, which is a guidance from the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay, OMG. What is the next letter? Okay, what do you think H may stand for? Hmm? You have the life of this world, then you have the life of hereafter, right? So if I'm speaking to a student, I will give them an analogy. I will let them know, just like after the class is done, the year is done, there is an evaluation the teacher does for the child, every student. In the same way, we can say that after we pass away, once we are in the hereafter, Allah will judge us based upon how we live this life. If you're talking to a colleague, you can say, our employer, our boss, they evaluate us based upon the assignment that they have given to us. In the same way, our grand assignment that what we are supposed to be doing, there would be an evaluation on the day of judgment. If a person has the right belief, doing good deeds, by Allah's mercy, the person goes to paradise. Or else there would be consequences and hellfire. Okay, so it's OMGH. What is the last letter?
I.
What do you think I may stand for? But the whole thing is Islam anyway. Take one more guess.
Yes, I.
Not even that. I'll give you a hint. Alright? Surah Nahl, ayah number 145, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. And the ayah continues. What's the translation of that? Then you will get the answer. I know, but what is the first word? Invite. Invite all to the way of Allah with wisdom and good preaching, and converse with them in ways which are best and most gracious. So I is invite. That means if the person understands one God, yes, it makes sense. The God has to be one, not multiple. They may say, it makes sense that every messenger, every prophet came with that one message. It makes sense that guidance has to be there. Solutions, comprehensive has to be there. Makes sense Quran is the last scripture. It makes sense there has to be accountability. Then they may be thinking what they should do. That's when you actively invite the person to Islam. So if I have a mathematical formula for dawah, it is information plus invitation equals dawah. So that's my small technique. Alright, you are raising your hand.
It wasn't video, but much how your way of saying it is accurate ABC. This reminds me of how the Prophet Sallallahu during his 4 years before the Prophet, for 4 years of his entire life, everyone knew him as a good person. Everyone knew him as a good merchant, businessman. They called him like good nicknames and like that. All of that was before he became a prophet and started preaching.
So your question is?
I didn't say it.
Okay, so just a comment. So what you're saying is you're adding to what I said. We have to have good credibility, taking care of the orphans, the widows, and the neighbors, and then he conveyed the message and people listen to it.
Yeah, that was like it's the best way of doing dawah on a very large scale.
MashaAllah. Yes, of course. Very good observation, MashaAllah. Alright, very good. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah bless you. This wonderful masjid, amazing masjid. Form a dawah team. If you're doing already dawah, mashallah, diversify your dawah. If you're just doing dawah stalls, open the masjid, invite the non-Muslims, share with them the beautiful message. Use the billboards on the highways. Use the public libraries. In Chicago, we also make Islam cards. We mail it out to people's homes. You can do that. You can do dawah in the neighborhood. The neighbors maybe there's some of them non-Muslims, old, handicapped, go and help them out. If people need any tutoring, children, non-Muslims, help them out. Islam came not just to share what Islam is. Islam came to become relevant to the society. So we have to do the grass work. May Allah help us to become ambassadors of peace to humanity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Brothers,